Welcome in, everybody, to the 11th episode of the Free Play Podcast. We are joined by a special guest today, first time on the podcast, Dane Hollenbeck. We're going to talk some college basketball today. Dane is he's got some ball knowledge when it comes to college basketball, so we're going to cover some of that today and just get into some conference championship predictions and even some Cinderella teams. So that being said, welcome to the 11th episode of the Free Play Podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor and our channel sponsor, RS Technologies. Go to them if you have any questions or concerns about your technology. You need some repairs, fixing. The team at RS Technologies is very willing to help you, and just reach out if you ever need technological support. So with that being said, getting into our first conference here in college basketball, March Madness approaching very soon. We have, one more week of games, like one weekend basically, and then conference tournaments before we get into March Madness. So let's kick it off with the American East.
I mean, my two teams that I have are UMBC and Vermont. I mean, these teams both are very defensively minded. Vermont is, I like to say that they're really slow-paced. They limit shot attempts, and they're very good at defensive rebounding, and they don't let teams get a second chance. But UMBC is even better on the defensive end, like 67 points a game, and they don't foul, and they have some great balanced scoring with I think I saw 4 10-plus point per game scores.
Yeah, no, Vermont is also one of those sneaky teams who's just always in the tournament. They just seem to always come out of the conference for whatever reason. And I have in my notes, obviously, they haven't won a lot of tournament games. It's really hard when you're coming out of a conference like that. Typically, they've been a 14 or 15 seed, 15 for the most part. So the other team in the conference, like you said, is UMBC, which the Terriers, I mean, that's a team that is deep into the March Madness lore for their upset over Virginia in, 2018, I believe that was?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So the year before they won the national championship. So I think it'll probably come down to either UMBC or Vermont. Those are the top two teams in the conference. I'm going to go with Vermont.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins this, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to come down between these two teams, and it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
But I think Vermont not only is going to win this, I think they have a chance to have an upset in the first round of March Madness against a slower-paced team.
Yeah.
Like Tennessee, especially Tennessee is one of the best rebounding teams in the country, but since Vermont's so good at defensive rebounding, they're not going to allow them with second chances. So I think if they get matched up with them, I put on St. Mary's, Villanova even, they're really slow-paced. I think if they match up with any of them, they have a chance of winning this.
Yeah. The American Conference next, obviously that's a conference a lot of us in Wichita are familiar with, and Wichita State's been incredible this year. They've been really good. I've enjoyed watching them a lot. Some of the other teams in the conference, Tulsa, they've been a good team all year long, I'd say, but they've been struggling recently. They got off to a really hot start in conference play, and then they've kind of tailed off as of late. And they've consistently struggled against the top teams of the conference. They split with Wichita State. They lost both times to USF. So the top three in the conference, Tulsa, USF, and WSU. And it looks like WSU will be getting the 2 seed, presumably if they win this weekend, which I anticipate that they will on senior night. So the sneaky team in the conference for me is Wichita State. I think USF is an incredibly good team. They've been super hot recently, but WSU's been really hot too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's USF is they're like an Alabama kind of team. They run.
Yeah, which makes sense because their coach is from Alabama.
Yeah.
He was the lead recruiter
awesome.
for Brandon Miller and some of their other guys there. He was one of the top assistants for Nate Oates at Alabama.
Yeah, he's trying to utilize Isaiah Nelson, who's a double-double monster at USF. He's trying to utilize him, not like a Brandon Miller, but kind of like a big man. And they not only can they score at will, they have a solid defense for that kind of pace, where they only allow 77's a little high, but for that good of a pace, that's a points per game margin of about 12. That's absurdly good for a team, especially in a smaller conference.
Yeah. I think the way that Wichita State can really make a deep run in March is through Kenyon Giles, obviously. But the dude's a dog. Like, you talk about, he reminds me so much of Tyler Perry when he played at K-State. I mean, the dude is a volume scorer. He shoots a lot of shots. He's going to shoot over 20 shots a game in the AAC tournament on a given night. And if they do find the way to make it into March, he's a guy that I think could seriously go off for 30 or 40.
I can see it.
Just with the amount that he shoots and how deadly he is from anywhere on the court. Like, that's why I think it'll take a effort like that from Kenyon Giles to will Wichita State into the tournament. But with how USF's been playing, I think they have real potential to be a Cinderella if they can hold off everyone else in the American.
Yeah, they're incredible. I mean, I like Wichita State mainly for their three-point shooting defense. They only allow 6 a game against them, like throughout this season. But against a team like USF, they're going to get up enough shots to make more than 6 because of how fast they play.
Yeah.
So I think USF is going to be able to dominate them better.
Yeah, another sneaky thing about Wichita State is they're one of the top rebounding teams in the country, especially from an offensive rebounding standpoint. I mean, 7'2" Will Berg, like, just massive. He grabs a lot of rebounds. They do very well on the offensive glass in terms of crashing, so that'll help them get some extra shots off, which could honestly be the difference. If Kenyon Giles is being a volume shooter like he has been all season, and he has somewhat of an off night, and he's not shooting 50% from 3, which he's done at times this season, then having those extra looks is vital to them being able to score enough on offense. Moving into the A10, this is one of the top mid-majors pretty consistently. I mean, VCU has been a really good team. Dayton was going to be a 1 seed with Obi Toppin in 2020. I mean, they've produced so many good teams. And this year's no exception. The top dog in the A10 all season long has been St. Louis, Josh Schertz, Robbie Avila. And, I mean, this is one especially I'm watching closely because there's rumors going around about Josh Schertz potentially being the next coach at K-State, which excites me very much. But the Billikens have a very balanced offensive attack, 5 10-plus point per game scorers, I believe, the last time I saw. And they shoot the ball really well. I mean, I looked at it today, they have like 5 or 6 guys who's shooting over 40% from 3 on the year. And they're kind of a young team, too. Like, they have a lot of guys with eligibility left. And again, they rebound the ball really well, which is something for a mid-major team you don't typically see in the tournament, which almost seems like a cheat code.
Yeah. I like how they shoot the best from 3 in the country. They shoot better than some teams do from the field in the country. They shoot over 40% from 3. That's what you need as a mid-major, going against a team, especially in March, as I expect this St. Louis team to not only win the A10, but pretty handedly. But I think they're shooting over 50% from the field, over 40% from 3. That will help you against a solid defense, like if they face any solid defense in the tournament as a 10 or 7 seed.
No, yeah. I mean, they've kind of slipped a little bit lately in terms of the A10. They've slipped a little bit. They've lost some games. They kind of got their first, tough loss of the year against Rhode Island. That was their first bad loss, I'd say, but then they kind of started slipping a little bit more. But they did pick up another win versus VCU, who I think is the only team really that can challenge them in the conference. Dayton's super hot right now, but I just think VCU's good. They lost their coach Ryan Odom last year to Virginia. He's been doing phenomenal there. But, again, they started the season slow. They kind of caught fire. Now they're only 1 game back in the conference standings behind St. Louis. So I think that's a team to watch. Maybe, obviously, if St. Louis does not win the conference, they're still probably going to get in as an at-large bid, which is kind of interesting because you don't typically get a 2-bid A10 every year.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Kind of interesting with all this Miami, Ohio stuff going around, too.
Yeah. We'll get into them later. We can definitely talk about that. Going into the ACC, the top dog, Duke, I mean, they've just ran the conference. The only team that's even close is Virginia, and they beat them by 26 last week.
Yeah.
So just bludgeoning. I mean, to me, the ACC tournament is going to be more about the teams that are on the bubble opposed to the top teams. We know what Duke is about, and I want to see some more from teams like Virginia Tech and SMU. These teams are on the bubble plus teams, like maybe 8 or 9 seed right now, that could still do a lot of work in terms of getting in the tournament. And I like these teams. SMU is good. They pulled off a big win, I believe. remember who it was at, but I was watching the game. Maybe
They won at North Carolina.
okay, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, no, but SMU, like, they're a good team, and I always think conference tournament time, especially in the ACC, is one of those conferences where a little chaos can ensue. We saw it happen with NC State, DJ Burns, Kevin Keats, and they rode that momentum from winning the conference tournament to the Final Four. So legitimately, like, one of these teams or someone lower in the standings, maybe Wake Forest or someone, Florida State, they could go on a run and carry that into the tournament. And I think Virginia Tech and SMU are two candidates to do that.
Me personally, I think the only team that can take down Duke in this conference is surprisingly SMU. SMU is they played them once at Cameron Indoor, lost by 7, and they played atrocious in that game. I was watching some of that game. They played atrocious, and the only thing that's bad about them is if they have an off shooting night, they will suck. They will not play good, but they shoot so many threes, I don't think it'll matter.
Yeah. No, I mean, they have a couple of names, if you're in tune with Wichita State the past couple of years, that you'll remember. Jaron Pierre was like one of the last groups of Greg Marshall recruits, and he always had potential. I was talking to my dad about this the other night. He's always had potential. He just had to take a couple years at a lower level to bounce back up, and he's averaging over 20. I think
playing incredible.
Yeah, and then Corey Washington, who was at St. Peter's, transfers to Wichita State, was a dog. He's now at SMU. And they've got some other guys that Boopy Miller.
How can you not
what
love
a
a
name.
name like Boopy?
Boopy Miller. I love that dude. So SMU, I'm not much of an ACC watcher, so Dane's a North Carolina fan.
I'd keep an eye on SMU for sure.
Okay.
I'd keep an eye on them.
Good to know. That's going to be we'll include them in the sneaky Power 5 Cinderella teams later. I got some interesting ones there too. But probably the best conference, actually no need to say probably, the best conference in America is obviously the Big 12. To me, this is a two-horse race for the Big 12 tournament between Arizona and Houston, and that's maybe being generous. I think Arizona is just going to squad wipe. Like, it's not even going to be close to me. I think
they're going to kill them.
Neutral court, my national championship prediction in Arizona, I think the only team that can hold a candle to them on a neutral floor is probably Houston. I mean, KU did beat them earlier in the year. KU just looked like crap lately, and I'm kind of out on them after they lost to Arizona State. So, I don't know. I think this is another conference. Obviously, these power conferences, we know who the top teams are. This is more about the bubble teams and the fringe teams. We want to know this is like the separator. And if we're able to separate these teams like Oklahoma State, TCU, Cincinnati, that are maybe slightly below the bubble, first 4 out, next 4 out, to last 4 in or last 4 buys, like those, some of these teams, I think TCU is probably squarely in right now. Cincinnati's getting on the cusp. They've been extremely good lately. And Oklahoma State is kind of just in that fringe. Mm-hmm. Like, I think, obviously, Cincinnati's been scorching hot lately. And, of course, TCU, they have some of the best wins in the country. And then other times they look like complete crap, almost losing to K-State. But they've also had wins, like they just pulled off a big win against Texas Tech. They almost beat Michigan. They did almost beat KU as well.
They did.
At the beginning of the year.
They should have beat KU.
Yeah, that was – yeah. So what's your opinion on Big 12?
It's Arizona. That's really all I have to say. Houston, I like them. Their defense has been great as always with Kelvin Sampson. They don't turn the ball over. They play slow. They grind the other team down, make them worn out. But they're different from last year. They don't have Juwan Roberts. That's what I like to point out. They don't have a presence in the middle on defense or on offense.
Yeah.
Juwan Roberts, you can give Juwan Roberts the ball in the post last year. They have Chris Sinak now, and he is not a post player. He is more of a fadeaway guy. So I think they may be on upset watch.
Yeah. No, Houston is – it's kind of a different approach from Houston than what we've seen in the past. Typically, they're a very old veteran team. But this year, they're kind of almost ran by 3 guys. Chris Sinak, a freshman. Kingston Fleming's a freshman. And then, of course, Emmanuel Sharp, the choker from last year in the national championship. But, Yeah, Houston's a really good team. They're going to be interesting because I think this is one of the last years of Kelvin Sampson that we're going to get, and this is kind of his last chance to win the national championship.
Yeah, I agree, but I would like to point out Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech has been better without JT Toppin, and I don't, from what I think, from what I can remember, I don't know if they've lost or not without JT Toppin, but
They lost to TCU.
that's right. But but I will say Texas Tech has been outstandingly good without JT Toppin. I
Yeah.
figured they'd fall out of the top 25 entirely almost, but I don't think they haven't. Christian Anderson, Donovan Atwell has
Yeah.
been insane for them.
Yeah.
I think they can make a run even
I don't.
without Toppin.
Yeah, I don't think what you're trying to say is necessarily that they're a better team when he's not on the floor, but that they've just been surprisingly good. And it seems like some of the guys, like they had really bad depth issues earlier in the year, and they were only getting like 6 or 7 guys in the game that they could consistently play. But now I think the depth has really stepped up without JT Toppin, and I mean Christian Anderson. They just bomb so many threes. It's ridiculous.
They
that
make 'em.
They could, like you said, they could be a potential team that people picked to be upset earlier in their bracket because they lose a guy who's a contender for the National Player of the Year. But they can get so hot from three, and they just really just are hot all season long from three with how well they shoot it, that I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, really.
Shouldn't.
I mean, it may limit their ceiling, but in terms of being able to get to the Sweet 16, they can still do that. Moving into the Big East, I mean, it kind of feels like we've just been on like the last three, A10, Big 12, Big East. They've all been run by one team, and it's not really close, and it's UConn.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
mean, St. John's has been up and down all year, but even when they've been at their peak, they haven't been able to touch UConn.
I mean, you were able to see how deadly this UConn team can be after they just played St. John's. They held St. John's to 24 straight missed field goals. That is absurd for both St. John's as an offense and UConn as a defense. UConn plays at a slower pace, but they're incredibly efficient while they do it. Caravan, Reed, Demary, all of them, they just have a balanced offense under Dan Hurley. And I think that they will dominate this tournament, no doubt.
Yeah. Seton Hall actually gave them a pretty good game last weekend. That was kind of one that they've kind of had struggled with. I think Hurley has lost some games in his career to Seton Hall, and so that was kind of a big win for them. Caravan, I believe, became the all-time leader in three-pointers
Something
made,
like that, yeah.
something like that.
Got his jersey retired.
That's crazy. Getting your jersey retired before you're even done playing, but whatever. UConn's really good. They're going to be up at the top of the March Madness, of course, one seed. I don't know. They just feel weird to me. Like, I don't view them in the same light as some of the top teams in the country, like Michigan or Arizona.
Yeah, that 4th one seed's up for grabs, and UConn's definitely there for it, but I wrote down if they don't win this tournament, they shouldn't get the 1 seed. No matter who they play in the championship, they're not going to get the 1 seed if they don't win it.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that if they get the last 1 seed, they deserve to have the best 2 seed in their bracket.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because all the other ones are way better. So I think they should have to play the highest 2 seed, which I'm not even sure who that'd be at this point, but maybe Houston.
Maybe Florida.
Florida, they've been really good lately too, yeah. Big Sky, kind of a sleeper conference. Portland State, Montana State, what do you got on them?
Portland State, I like to focus on their 2 main guys, Miller and Henderson. They are like a dynamic duo, but the depth behind them are kind of shaky. They are really good at limiting field goals, but in return they give them too many foul shots, which can be good and bad. Montana State's quite the opposite in almost every way. They have 4 players in double figures. They limit the free throw attempts, and they are really good at shooting from 3. But to me, Montana State, I think, should take it easily.
Okay. Yeah, Montana State has been a pretty good team in the Big Sky the last couple of years. And obviously you mentioned Terry Miller Jr., Jalen Henderson. Both average 17-plus points per game. And it's kind of rare to see a team with 2 17-plus point per game scores and a mid-major like this, because most of the time they just get ravaged before they can even develop into this type of a team. But they're so top-heavy. Like,
Yeah, I think
they're almost like mini Texas Tech.
Almost, yeah.
Like, they score so well, but, like, they have nobody outside of their top 4 who average more than 6 points a game.
Yeah, I don't think that can hold in a conference tournament where you have to play on back days. Like, especially against a team like Montana State where they have 4 players that can score on any given night.
Yeah, yeah. Big South. This is another sleeper one. Them in the Southland Conference they have some powerhouses in there. We'll get to the Southland later, but Winthrop and especially High Point.
Mm-hmm.
High Point was insanely good last year with Alan Huss. He leaves to go be the head coach in waiting at Creighton, and they played Purdue in the tournament. They lost, but they've reloaded the roster since last year. New coach, obviously, and they've won 11 in a row, which is incredibly impressive. And my notes on Winthrop, they shoot the ball really well. They're a good team, but High Point has just ran the gauntlet in their conference, and I'm impressed. I think they're like 27-4. Like, they could be a serious upset contender.
I think they're a mini FA. Well, in a way, they're a mini FAU with how few losses they have in conference play and overall. I think they have I don't think they have a chance of Final Four like FAU does because they're going to be too low of a seed. But I do think they could win 1, maybe 2 games of March Madness because they score the ball so much and they force almost 17 turnovers a game. And any team that turns the ball over that much, that forces turnovers that much, tends to succeed in March.
Yeah. The two teams that I think of are obviously High Point from last year, being on the 14 line, I believe, playing the 3-14 game against Purdue, and then I think of Furman from the year that they beat Virginia. They could force some turnovers, like sneaky. Like, these teams that can pressure you, and some of these ball handlers from teams, whoever they match up against, let's say they match up against Purdue again, probably be a little bit of a tougher matchup because of Braden Smith. But, I mean, if you can get pressure and a point guard is a team's weak link that you face, they could make some noise. I mean, it just comes down to the teams, obviously, as any mid-major, the matchups that they draw. Mm-hmm. But what do you think? What seed line do you think High Point will be on?
If they win the tournament, I'd say they're about a 13 seed.
So moving up maybe 1 from last year. I don't remember if they were 13 or 14 last year.
I could see them playing a 4 seed, like, what would be a good 4 seed? Like,
maybe Texas Tech.
Texas Tech wouldn't be bad. That'd be a fun matchup. Yeah. That'd be really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both teams play blistering paces.
Yeah.
So that would be
awesome.
Fun. We might be on 100 watch in that game with how much Texas Tech shoots and how fast the pace is. That would be fun. Big Ten, Michigan, top 2 team in the country. Debatable if you want to say they're 1 or 2, but I think the consensus is they're probably 2.
They're probably 2, yeah.
And obviously this is probably another tournament that's not going to be much for the top teams in it. But the bottom, I wouldn't say bottom tier teams, but the mid teams in the standings, Ohio State, Indiana, and Wisconsin have the most to gain because they can cement their March hopes. Some of those teams are on the bubble, like Ohio State and Indiana. Wisconsin's in, I believe, as of now.
I think they're about an 8 seed.
Yeah, but obviously they have a lot to prove. They've had really good wins, but some pretty bad losses. So that's something to watch as well. Ohio State, their coach is probably fired if they don't make the tournament.
Yeah.
So that's some extra incentive to play for. But a team like Wisconsin can prove a lot because in a tournament setting, with how often you play and day in and day out on a back-to-back-to-back basis, you can show you're not a volatile team and you're hitting your stride at the right time of the year, which is something Wisconsin's struggled to do because we see spurts where they're really good and they may beat Purdue, Illinois, a stretch like that, Michigan, and then they may go and drop some games to horrible teams. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just super volatile. And if they can go and win 2 or 3 games in the Big Ten tournament, they could probably push themselves up to a 6 or a 7 seed.
Mm-hmm. I think they could, with the right matchup, they may be able to make a Sweet 16 run. It just depends what kind of Wisconsin team shows up, what player Nick Boyd, John Blackwell, and Nolan Winter decide to be.
Yeah. John Blackwell's a dog. Like, they had him and John Tonje from last year. They had some hoopers over on Wisconsin.
Who do you have winning the tournament, Big Ten?
Huh?
The Big Ten tournament, who you got winning it?
Ooh, of course Michigan.
Ooh, I got a hot take, man.
Ooh.
Give me Illinois.
Keaton Wagler?
Dude, Illinois' efficiency's off the charts.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
historically efficient.
Yeah.
I think they can beat up on any one of these top teams, even Michigan. Because Michigan, I will say, has a turnover problem. They have, with ever since Dusty Mays came in, they've had turnover problems.
It's true.
And Illinois is great at forcing turnovers with how large they are, how lanky they are, with all the foreign people on their team.
Yeah. That's another thing to think about, too, is that Illinois has a roster full of these not even pseudo, they are pro players. Like, they're used to playing in environments where there might be a hostile crowd or there's high pressure. There's a lot on the line. And I think these are the type of games that these high-level athletes in general thrive in. And having professionals on your team is certainly different from having, to be quite honest, guys who are unprofessional, like Yaxel Lendeberg and some of the guys that they have on their team. Yeah, just guys that don't have the same mental makeup as some of these professional players because they've been doing it for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I can see it. I think they're the only team in the Big Ten that can stop their front court of Mara
Yeah,
and Johnson.
yeah. Braden's in the back of the room raging because they're talking about.
Beat them by 14.
Because we're talking.
Where was it at?
Illinois.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be okay. Illinois improved. Wagler's gonna beat the crap out of whoever he faces, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
He's explosive.
no Michigan State love.
They're okay. Not biggest fan of Fears, but he's a dog.
Yeah.
But depends if Izzo's defense decides to shut down teams in the tournament.
Yeah. Big West Conference, my favorite team because K-State's not going to be in the tournament. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. That is quite interesting to have Hawaii in the tournament potentially. They've been kind of running the Big West all year, but the UCs are also the teams to note in this conference. UC San Diego obviously was really good last year. Their coach moved on to New Mexico and Eric Olin, but the Tritons were really good last year. And I think the UC Irvine, I believe they're the Anteaters.
Yeah.
What a name.
That's awesome.
I mean, they're very close in the standings to Hawaii. So, again, these conferences are the ones where we can see teams that are even at the bottom propel themselves up and steal a bid. But, yeah, I mean, Hawaii is probably the best team in the conference.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I got UC Irvine winning the tournament and stealing a bid. Hawaii is incredible on defense, is what I've seen. Teams cannot shoot against them, and they rebound incredibly well. However, they don't have the best offense in the country. They don't have a great offense. And UC Irvine, I think, has the potential to get over the hump of bad shooting against Hawaii and bad rebounding against them because of their size. They have, I think I saw 6 players 6'9" or above on their team.
Wow.
So I think they'll be able to out-physical them in
Okay.
every aspect.
If Dane wants UC Irvine, I want UC Irvine. Sorry, Hawaii.
Damn.
You went from being my team to not being my team anymore. So, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. 6 players, 6'9" or higher is definitely some length.
5 or 6 is one of those two, 5 or 6. But
Yeah,
either way,
no,
it's insane.
that's crazy. You can run some crazy lineups with that.
Yeah.
The Colonial, this is another team that's really good. UNC Wilmington, coached by Takayo Siddle, I believe is how you pronounce it. Takayo, something like that. But they were really good last year. They almost knocked off Texas Tech in the Wichita Regional last year. That was a fun game to watch. And they kind of reloaded a little bit. They lost some guys, obviously to the portal, as every team does. But they've been just running the Colonial all year long, and I think that'll continue. They're 26-5, I believe. So I think that's a good opportunity for them to pick up some more steam heading into March.
Yeah, I got the same thing. UNC Wilmington should dominate this conference. I mean, they don't have much competition. They dominated the conference. They have experience from last year's run, and the other teams in the conference are kind of weaker. So I think UNC Wilmington should be fine.
Yeah. Talking about weaker teams in their conference, the Conference USA, just horrific conference. But the Liberty Flames have been torching the competition.
Oh, that was good, actually.
If Liberty does not win the conference, though, I'd be so surprised. There's the rest of the teams in the conference are dog water. I think Sam Houston State is the next one, and they've lost 5 more conference games than Liberty. I mean, they're just they always play a quick pace to me, and I feel like they shoot really well. Like just whenever I've seen them play, they've never really done much in the tournament, but they play so fast and they
did
shoot
beat
well.
Oklahoma State
Okay.
back in 2021 with or was it Oklahoma State? They beat some 5 or 4 seed
Okay.
a couple years ago in 2021.
Okay.
I think it was Oklahoma State with Cade.
Yeah, you might be right. What's the book on Liberty?
They shoot really well. They shoot over 50% from the field, and they don't turn the ball over. That's really all you need to know.
Yeah.
Those two combine really well for March.
So, just based off that, they kind of give me a little bit of vibes of Drake.
I can see it. I do say I think they play a little bit faster than Drake. Or you're talking about this year's Drake or
No,
year's
last
Drake?
year. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it, but they play a little bit faster. I see the similarities because of how good they shoot and how they don't turn the ball over. But I do think that they're a little bit – I think they're even better than Drake last year.
Okay. So Liberty's a team to definitely watch out for as a Cinderella. A conference I would not be looking out for a Cinderella in, though, is the Horizon League. This could be just a bloodbath. I mean, the team I'm kind of secretly rooting for, especially as a Packers fan, is Green Bay. But just because of how good of a story it is, I mean, Doug Gottlieb won 4 games last year. Not a huge Gottlieb guy, but anytime a team wins 4 games and just gets dragged through the mud as much as he and Green Bay did, it's so fun to see a team that's like near the top of their conference. But Bobby Morris, Robert Morris, and Wright State, those are the 2 teams to know. But then I'm going to throw in Oakland.
Yeah.
Just because it's Oakland, and Greg Campy.
Campy.
Yeah, Greg Campy has been there for a long time, and it would not be surprised if they snuck in the tournament again and pulled off some type of crazy upset like they did a couple years ago against Kentucky with Jack Golke, Townsend, those guys. So, in the Horizon League, Oakland team to watch, but I think this should probably be between Robert Morris and Wright State. And I believe Robert Morris won it last year, did they not?
They did. I think they went in as a 15 seed. They played
Yeah.
Bama in the first round.
They
I
did
think.
play Bama, and it was a close game.
It's close, yeah.
No.
Maybe because Bama don't got defense, but that's okay. But yeah, I'm not paying attention to this conference. I'm not gonna lie. This conference is pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think the Ivy League is
That's a
kind
fun
of
conference.
it's a kind of an interesting one. Like the top 2 teams in the league are Harvard and Yale.
I know it's awesome. Battle of the brainiacs, bro.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
Yale has been really good. Like the last couple of years, they've been in the tournament year in and year out. So I think this is maybe the year that they can potentially break through. Like they've been in the tournament the last 3 years, I want to say, and they've never won a game. The last couple of years, they've gotten close.
They have.
They've got close because they almost beat Auburn.
They did beat Auburn.
They did beat Auburn?
They did beat Auburn.
Okay, we're gonna have to fact check this.
They did beat Auburn.
Oh, dude, Dane's ball knowledge is off the charts. I for some reason I thought that they lost to Auburn, but no, they beat them 78-76.
They have experience of upsets.
Yeah.
I will say Yale and Harvard are the complete opposite of teams. Yale likes to score the ball a lot. Harvard likes to slow the game down a lot.
Okay.
So how those contradict is gonna be interesting.
Shout out for the one time John Poulikitis.
Heck yeah, bro. I remember Yale versus Auburn. I remember Trey Donaldson was on the Auburn team, and he missed the game-tying shot.
Oh yeah,
That was awesome.
dude.
How do you feel about that, Braden? Never mind. Trey Donaldson missing the game-winning shot.
All right, now moving. Huh?
Huh? Against Yale a couple years ago. Or no, I was on Auburn. You don't care.
Zero ball knowledge.
You got no ball knowledge, bro. He wasn't even on Michigan at the time, but like when they played Yale. Oh,
I don't care about Trey Donaldson. He's not even on Michigan anymore.
he's on Miami. He's
Yeah.
a dog for Miami.
Yeah, I was
Not
listening
Ohio.
to him the other day.
Speaking of them,
Yeah, so moving into the MAC now. Of course, Miami, Ohio has been the story of probably just mid-major throughout the season. I mean, 30-0 at the time of the recording is ridiculous. I mean, I don't think they're you could even argue they may not even be the best team in the conference.
I don't even know if they are. I think they've just been the luckiest team in the conference, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. But either way, they're still 30-0 for a reason. I mean, you can't discredit them for being undefeated. No, if any team goes undefeated, they should be credited for it, no matter who they play.
Yeah, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule. They've tried to schedule teams like KU I saw earlier today, and the teams don't want to play them. So you can't fault them for that. I know St. Louis was in a similar boat, but 30-0, They should be an at-large bid, even if Akron does win the MAC, which I would assume Akron's the only team that could probably put up a fight with them. Akron's super good, too. They've been in the tournament somewhat frequently over the last couple of years with John Gross. He was somewhere. Ohio State, maybe? No, Illinois.
Illinois.
John Gross was at Illinois before they got Brad Underwood. But yeah, Akron's been pretty good the last couple of years, and they've been really good this year. They've been overshadowed.
They have been.
They have one of the best records of mid-majors, and they've been just overshadowed because there's an undefeated team in their conference.
They only have one loss, and that one loss is by 3 to Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
So they are not to be slept on. In the one game they did play against them, pretty sure Miami of Ohio shot 30 free throws, and I think Akron maybe shot 10.
Yeah. The Miami, Ohio is interesting because I've been watching their games pretty frequently just to see if this streak is going to end. And every time you're just like, oh, Miami, Ohio's down. Like, turn the game on. They pull some BS to win the game. It's
awesome.
ridiculous. Third-string point guard, game winner against Western Michigan, who's awful.
Probably one of the worst teams in the whole country.
Yeah, they had like a triple overtime game against Kent State Kent State, and then a double OT against Buffalo. Like, just some weird games.
Yeah.
But, yeah, credit to Miami, Ohio.
Are you taking Miami or are you taking Akron?
Until Miami, Ohio loses, I'm not picking against them.
Fair enough.
I'm
taking Akron.
Okay. I don't blame you. I realistically think Akron's the better team. Mm-hmm. But I just kind of 2-bid MAC, baby. That's what we want. Everybody wants the 2-bid MAC. Mm-hmm. Missouri Valley, I might pick this team. Obviously, it depends on who they play. This is one of my upset picks in March Madness. Belmont. High-scoring team, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. Can score super well. They always have. Their defense is pretty buns, which is pretty typical for Belmont. But I think there's a lot of sleeping giants on this team because we've seen players like Jacoby Gillespie and Cade Tyson, who are at Tennessee and Minnesota now, were on Belmont teams and put up crazy good numbers. And I think Belmont probably has similar guys on their team that could be playing high major ball like these guys.
They have this dude named Tyler Lundblade. He is I think he's like 16 a game with about 3, 4, 5 assists. He may be the next white boy of March. I can't lie. He's good. He can shoot. I mean, I think he's going to transfer up to the next level after this season.
I thought he was a senior.
Is he?
Maybe. Because I know I've been looking at Belmont because K-State is interested in their coach. I think he's out of eligibility.
Ooh.
I think they're mostly an older squad. They do have some younger guys, but it's more so the depth pieces. Mm-hmm. But, no, he could be the next white boy of March. We have one every year, and sometimes, it's Doug Eater, Jack Golke. Who's your favorite white boy of March?
Ooh. Recently or, like, all time?
All time.
Just from the highlights that I've seen, I didn't see him play, but Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah.
Absolute unit.
Yeah, no,
Jimmer.
Jimmer could snipe that thing.
I know.
He had a bazooka on him, but Bradley is another team. I like Missouri Valley. I think that's the team. If anybody puts up a fight with them, I think it's probably Bradley. But Belmont, if they play a defensive juggernaut in March, don't like it at all. But if they play a team that has middling to bad defense, like I almost think like if they played in Alabama or somebody, this would be prime.
It would be awesome if they played a team like Bama.
Yeah, that's another 100-piece watch.
I know.
Like
maybe a 120-piece watch.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Mountain West, Utah State, New Mexico, those are the two that I really think are probably the top two. Utah State, Jared Calhoun. The Aggies, they've been really good the past 6 years. They had Craig Smith before him. He went to Utah. They've just been a factory for coaches and for players moving up levels and just a lot of success. I mean, they are consistently a tournament team, play a really good brand of ball, play really good offense, I believe.
They have two scorers who are really good. MJ Collins and Mason Falslev are really, really good. And they shoot just below 60% inside the 3-point line, which is really good efficiency for a team like that. But I do not have Utah State or New Mexico winning this. I have San Diego State.
Ooh.
They only allow 69 points per game, and they have been known to have this really demoralizing defense and really slow pace of play on offense to make teams get into a dogfight no matter how good they are. And they shoot just below 50% from the field, which isn't ideal, but they do have some really good players on their team. I think they can beat Utah State or New Mexico.
Yeah, I like that actually. I didn't have them on my list. Obviously, I've watched San Diego State, Brian Dutcher. They have a good team over there. I think they've had their third right now in the conference.
I think so.
I believe, or somewhere around there. Obviously, they made the national championship
They did.
a couple of years ago, which is
I was there.
2023.
I was there.
Wow, what a weird
Saw the
national
buzzer
championship
beater.
to go to.
I know, it was horrible, but I liked the semifinal game where they hit the buzzer beater. That was awesome.
Yeah. New Mexico, obviously I mentioned Eric Olin, the former UC San Diego coach. He ran the table with them last year into March, and they were a really good team, really fun to watch. And he continued what Richard Pitino left off. And New Mexico has just always been one of my favorite teams, like mid-majors. Last year they were pretty good, I believe. And then a few years ago, they played Clemson. I picked that team to go to the Elite Eight, and they got smacked in the first round. But that team was – I just had to research them a little bit. Donovan Dent, J.T. Toppin, Jalen House, True Washington, Jamal Mashburn, Nelly Jr. Joseph.
Those are some great players. I love Nelly Jr. Joseph when he played
Yeah.
at New Mexico, double machine with Donovan Dent.
Didn't he go to Baylor or something like that?
Nelly Jr. Joseph.
Yeah.
I want to say he graduated.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I thought he went to Baylor and then got hurt. But
Or that. I haven't heard of him.
either
since.
way, yeah, I think New Mexico could be a team to watch, but San Diego State still want to bid. I like it.
Yeah, I do think Utah State can still make the tournament even if they don't win the
Oh,
conference
they
tournament,
should. Yeah, I think they should be in even
But
if they don't win the conference.
The Mountain West is always a crapshoot with so many teams that beat up on each other.
Yeah.
In the tournament and regular season, so who knows? Maybe a 7 seed can win it.
Typically, whenever the Mountain West teams make the tournament, they typically don't do well.
Not really.
So it's they kind of just beat up on each other all year, and then they give you this false sense of being good, and then they just go and lose
Yeah.
in the first round.
First, second round, they're usually
Yeah.
8.
Yeah,
7
that's also
seeds.
true. So even if they do get past their first round game, then they play a 1 seed.
Yeah.
So it's just a wash. Patriot League, Navy, first service academy, I believe, since the early 2000s
Yeah.
to make it in. Like, that's
awesome.
That's hilarious. I want to see service academies in a lot more often. I think Navy's going to be a 16,
Yeah.
maybe
I
a
think it was
15. Okay, 15, 16. So, but they're 25-6. They have 1 loss in conference play, which is by far the best in their conference. So, I don't know. Navy, potentially.
Navy they should. But I would like to point out, I want to go back to UNC Wilmington because I remember seeing this today. They beat Navy by 30 earlier this season.
Wow.
So, still, UNC Wilmington could definitely be good. But back to this. I do think Colgate's has had a history of making the tournament as a 13-14 seed. I don't think they can do it this year, but they are always a team to watch, even though it's a down year for them.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about these mid-major tournaments is you really never know who's going to come out, and like you could just have the most unpredictable team come out, and
awesome.
whoever catches fire at the right time is the teams that do well in March. Always be wary of the teams that are on cold stretches or may lose in the first round of their conference tournament because it's kind of a while to sit,
Yeah.
especially if you get out in the first rounds. SEC, Florida.
I love this conference. This is my conference, bro. I've watched the most of this conference by far.
Okay.
And Florida is my national championship pick.
Back to back?
Yes.
They did it but once
Back to
before.
back.
They did it
They're
before.
going to do it again.
Okay.
I have seen this team play the past 4, 5, 6 games. They have the best front court in the country. They're the best rebounding team in the country. And they have consistently shut down a team's best guard. Hauken Condon can beat up on any front court in the country. They have Chinyelu who's getting 20 boards a game.
Dude, he's ridiculous.
I don't see a team beating Florida with how hot they are.
They have won 10 games in a row, which is crazy in a power conference to win that many in a row. I think it was kind of weird because you looked at halfway through the year, and the SEC was just mid. I think Vanderbilt was the top team.
Yeah.
And the SEC, and it was just meh. Who is going to come out of the SEC? And then basically as soon as I said that on the podcast, Florida just went scorched earth, and they started beating everybody and their mothers. And Arkansas is good too. I like them. I think they can be really good. Darius Acuff, dog.
Awesome.
Malik Thomas, is he over there too?
He's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
He's inconsistent, but he's all right.
yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of Arkansas, mainly
Okay.
because of the lack of defense. Same with Bama. I love watching them play, but they
Yeah.
can't play defense.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
don't know.
I think SEC, the big thing to watch here, because I do think Florida's just so hot, they're going to take it. Take the SEC tournament. 3 teams to watch: Texas, Georgia, Auburn. I think Texas has really a lot of work to do if they want to get in. Auburn has even more.
Auburn has a ton.
Auburn's going to need probably national championship game
Yeah.
to make the tournament, or at least like three wins in the tournament. It's going to be a lot for them. But Texas, I think, needs a couple. They might need to make like get 2 wins.
I can see it. Yeah. I mean, Auburn shouldn't even be in consideration for the tournament. But even if they are, I don't think they're gonna make it. Like,
No.
they shouldn't be in conversation. Having almost as many losses as wins is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And still being projected to potentially be in the tournament is insane.
Yeah. Georgia, on the other hand, they're in now, probably on the 8-9 line, which I think if you're Georgia, you really want to win because the 8-9 line is death.
Yeah.
And getting into just the 7-10 is so much better. Like, you're going to be able to have the opportunity to legitimately, that determines whether you can probably make a Sweet 16 or not.
Yeah, I like watching this Georgia team play because a lot of the SEC is fast paced, and that's what I like to watch. And Georgia, I don't feel like nobody's talking about it. They average 90 points a game,
Jeez.
and they are incredibly fun to watch. Jeremiah Wilkinson for them is a sniper. They have this dude named, I think it's Surreal. The dude fouls out every game, but he gets like 4 blocks while he's on the court. But I think the SEC is very underrated, especially this year. Even though Big 12, Big 10 are overshadowing them, I think SEC is really underrated and they can make a run.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, last year was Ole Miss, right? Ole Miss did really good.
Arkansas did really good too.
Yeah, Arkansas did really good. Sometimes they have sleepers. I mean, that's kind of the opposite of the Mountain West.
Yeah.
They all beat up on each other, and then they get to the tournament and they're battle tested.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting. Moving to the Southland Conference, sleeper Stephen F. Austin, McNeese State. Stephen F. Austin coached by Matt Brower, former Wichita State player, and then McNeese State. They just got their swagger back.
They did.
They got Amir Orakan back in the building, and it's almost a shame that
My fault.
it's almost a shame that only one of these teams will make the tournament because they've both been so good.
Yeah.
But McNeese, they lost Will Wade, but they're still back at the top of the conference, battling it out with SFA. I want SFA to make it though, just because of how good they've been all season, and they're Keon Thompson.
He is
Dude.
insane.
Yeah.
Him and is it Patrick? Is that his last name?
Yep. He's the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're ballers.
Yeah. They have a really good squad. McNeese though, 8-game win streak, really hot. But Stephen F. Austin's been consistently good all year.
I know they've been crazy. I have Stephen F. Austin in this.
Yeah.
McNeese, I do like McNeese because they don't turn the ball over hardly at all, and they can shut teams down. But so can Stephen F. Austin. I think Stephen F. Austin can beat them.
Yeah.
Not handily, but they can beat them.
Yeah. Summit League, North Dakota State and St. Thomas. I like NDSU. What about you?
St. Thomas.
Ooh, okay.
I like St. Thomas. For me, they're really opposite again. I'm kind of contradicting what I said earlier. NDSU has 4 really good scorers. St. Thomas has Nolan I don't know how to say his name, Minnesale, averaging 20 points a game. And that's their main scorer, but I would like to say they shoot the best 2-point percentage in the country at over 63%.
Dang.
And North Dakota State shoots 47%. So I think the offense alone on St. Thomas can overcome North Dakota State's defense, especially with the Summit League. They've always been known to have this weaker kind of defense. Especially last year with North Dakota State, North Dakota, South Dakota, all of them, they kind of have just a weak defense. And so I think whoever outscores the other team wins this conference, and it'll be St. Thomas.
Yeah. North Dakota State's they've been building some pretty good teams the last couple of years, and I think it's a matter of time before they break through. That's just really my reasoning behind it. But the efficiency's off the charts for St. Thomas. I mean, they had that one dude, Barnstable, last year. They've been good for the last couple of years. He went to Tulsa. He's unreal from three. West Coast Conference, potential to be a 3-bid league, which that would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
But it's going to take a lot to get there. It's going to take Gonzaga or St. Mary's to lose to Santa Clara. So Santa Clara is going to need to win the conference tournament to get in that way, and that'll probably mean that Gonzaga's definitely safe, right? St. Mary's
Should be safe.
should be safe, but on the off chance that they get out in the first round, like, could be a little bit of a scarier selection Sunday for them,
Honestly,
seeing how far that they
I
could
think
fall.
St. Mary's is firmly safe. Have you seen
Yeah,
their,
I think they're safe. I just think
they're following all these mid-major conferences with these like gauntlet. They call them gauntlet brackets conference, where they have the 4 lowest teams playing the game. I don't know how to describe it. It's like Gonzaga only has to win 2 games to win the conference.
Oh,
tournament,
okay. Yeah.
And the bottom teams have to win like 6.
Sure. Yeah. No, those have been.
So-
Yeah, I've seen those.
I think St. Mary's should be fine
Yeah.
if they're playing a really beat up, especially a lower seed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying if they lose in the first round of their conference tournament, I think they might slide a seed or
A
2.
little bit, maybe.
But which for them that might push them off of the 6 line onto the 7 or 7 into
7
the
to the
8,
eight, yeah.
which would be pretty brutal for them.
Which would be death.
Yeah. Santa Clara though, if they win the conference, I think probably 11.
Yeah.
10, 11.
solid 11. I'd give them an 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good. I will give them that. They love to force turnovers, which is I compare them to Iowa State in a way. Them and Iowa State both love to like force turnovers. The only thing is Santa Clara is better at scoring than them. But yeah, I don't see Santa Clara winning, but I do see them getting to the championship game.
Okay. Yeah, I think even if we live in a scenario where it's going to be tough, right, for Santa Clara to make it in as an at-large, but they would probably need to beat Gonzaga in the bracket, which I don't know how the bracket is totally shaped up in the WCC yet, but I think it should be done. It should be pretty much set.
Should be starting today.
But I think Santa Clara, if there's not too many bid stealers, which there's always 1 or 2, so this is probably just not even worth talking about, but they could potentially make their resume better over like a team like Cincinnati or Ohio State, especially Ohio State, if they can win the game against Gonzaga.
I can see it.
That would probably be the final thing that they need to show.
Yeah, I see it.
Moving into Cinderellas, I want to just put together, I have 8 teams on my list of my favorite Cinderella teams. Dane doesn't have a list, so he's just going to have to go at the top of his head, but I'm sure he can fill in some of the gaps here. USF, talked about them. I think they're going to be an 11 or 12.
Yeah.
That's prime. That's prime
awesome.
upset seeding. Like, I just think USF is incredible. VCU, if they get out of the A10, watch out, because that means they got hot.
Yeah.
That they got hot if they could beat St. Louis.
St. Louis.
So that would be something to watch. TCU, of course, really strong schedule and some really good wins. Texas Tech, Iowa State, big wins. Barely lost to Michigan and KU. So those are games that they played extremely well in. But there's games on the flip side where I said Super Jekyll and Hyde where they might lose to a team like K-State almost.
Were they the team that lost to New Orleans?
I think, yeah, they did. They lost to New Orleans. You're definitely right. Yeah. So, again, a team that they actually played each other, Wisconsin and TCU played. I think Wisconsin won.
Sounds right.
So, but they're a similar vein, super volatile team, incredible wins, proven coaching Greg Gard, John Blackwell walking bucket. They have wins against Purdue, Michigan, Illinois, Michigan State, and can still add another this weekend at Purdue.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, what do you have something on Wisconsin?
I mean, I'm not too confident in Wisconsin. That's just me.
Okay.
But I don't like their volatility. It just depends what team shows up. I don't like the teams that have that show up half the time and don't show up half the time are teams that are really bad in March, because they're going to find a matchup and they're going to find a way to lose under the pressure.
Sure. It's a good point. Cincinnati, they've hit their ceiling, playing insanely well right now. Baba Miller, Jizzle James, Mustafa Tiem, I think is how you pronounce it. Not sure, but they're all studs in it. This has been a tournament team from the moment this roster was constructed. Wes Miller has just been horrendous, and I think they finally figured out how to put it all together. And I think it'll take some advancement in the Big 12 tournament, but I think they can do it with how hot they're playing right now and the type of wins that they've picked up. They're playing really good ball right now. And, just a weird season in general. Like, Jizzle James got kicked off the team, and then he got welcomed back, and then now he's hooping. And Baba Miller couldn't shoot the three ball. He's been a good shooter throughout his career at Florida Atlantic. Transfers to Cincinnati, horrific three-point shooting. He was like 1 for 30 something on the season, and then he goes off and is 4 for 4, something like that against K-State, and then now he's just shooting like 35% from three, which is absurd because Baba Miller's like 6'10".
He gets bored. He doesn't shoot threes. He gets like a double every game.
Yeah, no, he's an interesting player. And Mustafa Thiem is more of like a paint presence for him. High Point, again, really good squad, hot at the right time, tournament experience last year. Copy and paste, UNC Wilmington tournament experience, high-level coach. They have guards like Nolan Hodge can take over the tournament, and he can score efficiently from three, which is the exact hybrid I like. Guards who are efficient from three and are just good scorers. That's every mid-major team that wants to do well in the tournament needs one of those guys. And then Belmont shoots lights out, shoots you out of the gym, 5 rotation players who average 40+% from three, 4 double-digit scores, horrible on defense, and not good at rebounding. That's just kind of the scouting report. But as I mentioned, if they match up an SEC team, that'd be a great draw for them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. There is a team in the Big 12 that I love, UCF. I've seen UCF play a bunch, and I can't remember their coach's name, but
Johnny Dawkins.
Johnny Dawkins. I love their team. I love Themis Folks. I basically love their entire team. Like, they beat up on BYU. Granted, they're not as good now, but they have had very close games with some very good teams. I'm pretty sure they obviously lost to Arizona, I think, by 25, but every team loses to Arizona by 25. But other than that, they've had some very close games. And I think if they get over that hump, they should be able to at least – I think they're going to make it in the tournament as an 8-9, which could be bad. But they can at least make it closer with one of the better 1 seeds to me than some of the other teams can.
Yeah. Anyone else you want to cover before we get out of here?
Vermont.
You want to go back to Vermont?
The more I look at Vermont, the more I like them, to be honest with you. I think Vermont has a chance to upset a team. I said it earlier, but I think they have a chance to upset a team in the first round, whoever they play. They're going to be on that 13 line, so a team like there's going to be some bad matchups for them, like Bama. I think they're going to be a 4 seed. Texas Tech, they're going to be a 4 seed. But if they play one of these, like I have Tennessee down, I think they have a chance to be a 4 seed, depending on how they do in the SEC tournament. But if they play a team like that who's kind of like identical to them, I think they have a chance to win that, honestly, especially with a team as volatile as Tennessee in the SEC. I think they can match them up very, very well.
Yeah. No, I think this is going to be a super interesting March. It feels like we have the high-end teams, and then it's just like a crapshoot in between. Like, I think there's going to be – we have some powerhouse mid-majors like St. Louis and Miami, Ohio, and then some really good sleeper teams like we talked about with Belmont, UNC Wilmington, High Point. And then, of course, there's always the tier of teams like Wisconsin, Cincinnati, TCU, UCF that are like the power teams.
Like the middle of the power conferences.
Yeah, but the ones that are dangerous.
Yeah.
So I think those are some really good picks, and I'm excited to see how this tournament will play out.
It'll be fun. Hopefully better than last year. Last year was a little booty, but this year should be a little better. I cannot lie.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Thank you for Dane to taking the time out of his schedule to come on the podcast. He knows a lot of ball.
I try to.
Yeah.
I try to watch as much as I can.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode.